Here's a screencast to show you how to make a form similar to this. So I've made forms like this for my classroom where you can't submit until you get 100% on every question. So what is 62 times 10? The answer is 620, but if I didn't do it right, there's a message that pops up. You can embed pictures or images. So who is this? Abraham Lincoln. And if I did it wrong, there's a message that pops up. You can embed video, so I'll have my students watch a video and then at the end answer a question. If they get it wrong, you can put a hint. Students will be working in pairs in case they didn't realize and they thought it was one for each student. Or you can make the video the actual hint. So if student says 25 hundredths times 22 and puts in the wrong answer, it would say try watching this to help, and they could watch the video in order to help them. If they refuse to watch the video or puts in the wrong answer, the way it's set, this form, you cannot submit unless you get the right answer. So they could keep trying. This eliminates just guessing. I've seen a lot of other mediums where there's quizzes, and if you get the wrong answer, it won't allow you to finish the quiz, and it does something similar to Google Forms, but it's always been multiple choice. And what I like about Google Forms is that I've got it set where it doesn't matter. I'm not really just going to be able to keep guessing. And in multiple choice, it's been my experience that students will just hit all the choices till they get it correct. So after I've got all of them correct, that's the only time it'll submit the form. Let me show you how to create a form similar to this. Of course, you're going to Google Forms. Let me just title it Test Form. Oops. And first thing I'm going to do is change my question to a short answer rather than multiple choice. So what is 5 times 5? I'm going to the 3 dots down there and go to data validation. Data validation is what's going to allow you to set your answer. So the answer is 25. So I'm going to say equal to, but my answer is 25. Custom error text is what's going to appear if they get the wrong answer or as soon as they start typing. You have to put something there. If you don't, let me show you what it does. So if I put the wrong answer as 10, it's going to revert back to your data validation. So it says must be equal to 25, which basically gives them the answer. So you definitely don't want to do that. Put something in there, a hint or a video, or even just a message, try again. Hit required, and that's what allows your form to not be submitted unless all questions are answered. And then your data validation, of course, makes it so that all questions need to be answered correctly. You add a question. Again, this time I'll show you how to embed an image. Click on the question and you're just going to put an image. This is where I put the Abraham Lincoln. You can upload any picture. It can be for any subject. Doesn't have to be history or who is this. It could be math, science. Let me just do a fun one here, and then I'll show you how you can use a hint rather than a message for your custom error text. I'm not going to title it just because I am going to put who is this? Who is this famous baseball player? Again, hit required, hit data validation, and change it from number to text. This is case sensitive, so they will have to capitalize. I'll show you one of the forms I've done where I put in the directions that you need to use all caps because that's how I set my answers. But here I can put a hint. He is the greatest left fielder, Major League Baseball. A helpful hint is after you've done a question with an image or a video, the next time you add a question, you're going to have to click and drag it underneath your image or video. Otherwise, it'll stack the questions on top of each other. So keep that in mind. This time I'm going to add a video instead. So I just can click right here. Again, you can use any subject. Let me show you. Let me put in a science video that I did with one of my kids. So you can click it. I know since I've made this video that vocabulary words scroll across the bottom. So for my question, it could be what word means less treat it. Required data validation. I know that the answer is dilute, but because I know it's case sensitive, maybe my message would be make sure your answer is written all lowercase letters. Goodness. And then again, like I said, if you're going to add this next question, and I'll just show you real quickly what it is. If you just leave it that way, it's going to break up your image and your video. So do you see it says what word means less concentrated? Then the next question is there. It's because I didn't click and drag it. So don't forget to do that. So just click and drag it underneath your video or image. When you hit data validation here, rather than put a video as my question, what I could do is click custom error text, and that's when I did that video as a hint. That's when you can go ahead and insert a video there, like on that original one. Let me show you. That's really all you need to do, but I do want to show you real quick that form where I said you can put it in the directions. So, for example, classifying quadrilaterals. In my directions, because I knew all of my answers were going to be text, I told them to put always, never, sometimes in all caps so that they knew that they all were going to be answered that same way since it is case sensitive. So, for example, a square is a rectangle, that would be always. If I didn't do it that way, you would not accept it. So kind of keep that in mind as well. So I hope that helped.